Um, right. Value of a vintage car. I think
Value of a vintage car. Okay. Okay. Find P to 4 decimal places.
yeah, they are telling an optimistic story, aren't they?
Okay. Well, so can we just substitute in the value of?
Yeah.
One of those. So 32,000
Each in turn, yeah. That's right. 32,000 equals.
What does A stand for? A and
Well,
B
that's what we're going to find out. Yeah.
With simultaneous equations, right? That's fine.
Indeed.
32,000 A.
Equals
AP to the power of. When did they start? 1st of January 2001. So if T is in years.
Good.
T in years.
Yes.
It is. So AP to the 4.
Yep.
And
Along
then
with, yeah,
50,000 equals AP to the 11.
Yep. Yep. Good.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's fairly unusual, isn't it, to have a pair of simultaneous equations that aren't involving sums or differences.
It is weird, but what we can do is divide one of them by P.
Or even, just like you might subtract one equation from another, basically just divide one equation by the other, really. Just.
Oh, right. Yeah, so AP to the 11th, which would go to AP to the 7, would it not?
Yeah.
Equals, and then whatever 50,000.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, no, just P to the 7 would equal, because the A
was cancelled. Yeah, I stand corrected. Absolutely.
50.
The A's have cancelled. Absolutely, well done. Equals what fraction?
25 over 16, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Well, because 50 over 32. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, so P will be pressing what button?
The 7th. I don't even know how to say that. The 7th root of P of 25 over 16.
Yes. How do you say it? The 7. But you said it actually. But you could write it how?
Oh, you could
the 7th root. You would write it.
To the minus 7. No, to the 7th.
To the 7th. Good. So whatever that is.
Yeah, it's not the nicest number. And then what does find?
And then A would be.
Oh, well, they want P to 4 decimal places, so
yeah.
P equals. I'll write it here. 1.0658.
Great. And then. Oh, I see. But you've done it to 4 decimal places. That's fine.
Do they want A?
And then they want A, which should be that value to the nearest £100. Nearest ton.
Okay, wait. Okay.
Automobiles.
2,000. Right, so A equals 32,000 divided by P to the 4. And we know P.
Probably that's a neat way to do it. Well done. A equals 32,000 over that stuff to the 4, which of course is, I suppose we've got a fraction in a fraction, which
Well, it
But
approximately.
it would be, what fraction of this power do we want on the bottom?
Oh, would it be to the minus a seventh?
Oh, we could express it like that, yes. We could have 32,000 times this fraction. To what power, though? Would it be minus? But I'm going to leave it as plus on the bottom. I'll do it both ways.
Minus a seventh? Is that what you mean?
Oh, well, no, I just mean how do we put this into the mix? We need to, don't we? If we're using that number, we need this power of p.
Oh, right. 25, 16 to the minus. Yeah, I don't know. I keep getting minus 1/7 to the minus a seventh. What is it?
I mean, here it would be minus, but minus what here? Well, it's that, but it's raised to the power of 4, isn't it? Because your power of a seventh is p. But to find a in this context, we need to multiply that number by p to the 4.
Uh-huh.
So we have to think, well, what happens if we raise that to the power of 4?
You times the powers,
That's
so
those two powers, that's right.
4 sevenths.
Exactly. So either that, or we could tidy this up slightly, couldn't we, by saying 32,000 times 16 to the power of 4 sevenths over 25 to the power of 4 sevenths.
It's not going to be particularly nice.
Any of those.
Sums do in my head, but it roughly equals.
You're not doing that in your head?
Roughly equals.
I can't find my calculator. That's my excuse.
No, I mean, I've put it on the calculator. So it roughly equals. It's 24,000.
Yep.
No, sorry, not 24,000. Oh, it is 24,000.
Yeah.
24,796.
Well, that's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. So that roughly equals 24,800.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, on that basis, interpret.
On that basis, interpret
Constant A.
The value of constant A. Interpret.
Yeah. What does A mean? In particular, this value of A, £24,800. What's it really the value of?
The car originally.
Yes. Because then this begins to resemble, doesn't it, a geometric sequence where A is the first term, but then you would need the years then would have to be n-1 rather than n. But apart from that,
the value of the constant p is the effective time, or no?
Yes. Keep going.
The effective time.
More specifically,
on the original value of the car.
Every
t years.
How many years?
T years.
Well, no, t is the power we're raising it to.
So
t is, and by the way, I mean, it's optimistic, isn't it? It's going up in value.
It's rare for a car question.
Going up in value. Yeah.
That would. I mean, I think that's why they've said vintage, because nothing, any other type would not.
Right.
Interpret the value of the constant p. Well, it would be the effective car, the effective time on the value of the car every year.
Yeah. It's in the geometric sequence or series that would be called the common
difference.
That would be an arithmetic sequence.
The common multiplier?
Yes, or as it's usually called, R for. Usually use the letter R for.
R for rate.
Ratio, yes.
Ratio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Common ratio is, and in this, well, you know, I was going to say examples of a common ratio, this would be a typical one, which is the yearly appreciation, I suppose they would say, of value.
Yes.
As opposed to depreciation.
Right, so so P is the yearly appreciation.
Yeah. I mean, they'll accept any reasonable form of words.
In that ballpark. Yeah, it's a maths exam. They're not going to be fussy about words. But as long as it's not wrong maths-wise, if it's close to right English-wise, they're not going to play it right. Okay, C.
I agree.
What was C?
Sorry. Find the year during which the value of the car first exceeds 100,000.
Okay.
Now here we have
to make H equal.
Yeah.
100,000.
Yeah, that's one way. I was just wondering whether to call it equal or exceeds. If you call it exceeds, then you just have to be very careful with the inequality sign in the ways you know about, when you have to be careful. Mm-hmm. When do you have to be careful balancing with an inequality sign?
When it's equal to?
Or if you might be dividing or multiplying by a negative.
Right.
Or when you're taking, you can't take the log of a negative, but the log of a fraction less than 1, it gets a bit risky. You were going to put it equal, and I think that might be. Let's do it that way on this occasion anyway. So let's find out, you know, a decimal fraction of a year, probably, when it's equal to 100,000, in the way you suggest. In other words, sorry, a long way of saying, yes, let's do your idea. 100,000 equals.
Right, so we put A as 24,800 because.
I guess. Yeah.
I don't think they would mark you down for that. There's no clear way to know.
Let's, because it might mean this, we can simplify before it gets nasty.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
And then what's P? P is.
Well, we know it's 25 over 16 to the 7th. Mm-hmm. Oh, let's call it that. Why not? If we've got a simple number there, you never know if it might. The algebra might be nice, you know.
The algebra might be nice.
So P to the power of what?
T.
T, which we're trying to find. Yes. So T over 7.
True.
So at least we might be able to do some, you know, if we just try and make T the subject.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Right. So
let's see what happens.
Okay. Right. So the first thing we can do is divide 100,000 by 24,800.
Yes. Good.
Equals 25/16 of the T over 7. Then we can, what do we have to log both sides?
What have we got here? 1,000 over 248.
1,000 over 248. 100,000 over.
Yeah.
248,000. No, 100,000 over 24,800.
Yes. So a couple of those zeros will cancel. That's all I was.
Oh, right. Okay.
But I probably should have put the other step in. And then even numbers, just follow them down. perhaps.
Yeah, 250 over 62. 125 over 31. And I think that's about as far as it goes.
Agree.
Without spending too much time on that one, realistically, you don't actually need to yet.
Quite.
Anyway, and then, okay, and then that equals 25/16 of t over 7.
So we could say t over 7 equals what?
T over 7 equals log.
Yes.
Is the base of the log 25/16?
Well done. Because t over 7, we can see here, is clearly the power we have to raise that fraction to, that base to get this number here.
So t equals 7 times that.
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
So you've got something you can put in the calculator.
A calculator job, because I am not.
No.
That would
Oh
be
yes, yeah, quite. So no, it's not going to. I mean, we could simplify a little bit here.
We could, but I don't think we'd
Could we?
actually. We couldn't really get anywhere.
Could we? Yeah, that base is kind of crying out to.
All right. Well, what would it want it to?
Is it? Not really.
So the
Anyway,
time
put that in the calculator, definitely.
21.9.
Is it right? Great.
Oh no, but it's the year, isn't it? This is the year that it first exceeds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So would that be 21 years then?
So it was 1st of Jan 2001. So here's where we can be careful. Perhaps we ought to have used the inequality sign, but no, not really. But I think as long as you're careful and you think about more or less. So the year that it first exceeds that, if it's happening during this 22nd year after the start. Sorry, yeah, you're saying
yeah.
too.
So it's just 2001 plus 21, isn't it? So
no. If you think about it, 21 years after the start, it won't quite have reached the value, will it?
Right. So 2001 plus 22. So 2000.
Oh no, sorry. They did want the year during which.
During which, yeah.
In which case, I take it back. Sorry, I was assuming the question was
2022.
At which January the 1st would it have first exceeded that?
Oh no, it wasn't. Yeah.
Right. So now we have to be careful.
Yeah, well,
so 21 years after the start, it hasn't.
So it's 2022 because 1 plus 21 equals.
During the year 2022, yes.
Yeah, you have to be careful with wording on questions like that because it's not consistent. Because it's not. They don't always ask you to do the same thing.
I'm sure you're right to notice that.
Yeah. Anyway, because sometimes you would have been right, and sometimes it would have been by which 1st of January, which is the 1st of January. But yeah, anyway. Okay, right. Next week, I'm going to say that we do exactly the same thing as this week because I have no other updates.
Unless anything else crops up, of course. Yeah, always.
Yep, of course. Yep. All right. Yep. See you then.